Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're unpacking a question that truly weighs on so many creators, especially authors. That big one. Why isn't my book selling?
Yeah, it's a really common, often pretty frustrating challenge.
Yep.
It leads to some serious self-doubt.
Exactly. But our deep dive today, we're aiming to sort of pull back the curtain on this deeply personal struggle and maybe reveal some, surprising answers. We're going to explore the unique insights of author KJ, her forthcoming book, Why Is Nobody Buying My Book? Insights and Solutions. It's launching very soon, June 30th, 2025. Mark that down.
Right. And listeners might already know KJ, perhaps from her debut novel series, Diary of Cliches.
Or maybe her blog, Kay's Odyssey. She shares some really, really profound observations there about the whole creative journey.
Absolutely. And this deep dive into KJ's work, it's going to be quite a bit more than your typical marketing advice, I think. Her new book, especially, it really challenges us to look beyond just the surface stuff.
Yeah.
It gets into these surprising intersections. You know, the psychology of money, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and maybe most powerfully, the art of healing.
That's the fascinating part.
Yeah. And she applies this healing idea not just to the reader, which you might expect, but also really critically to the author themselves.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to extract the absolute core insights from KJ's work. We're pulling from her new book, but also her blog posts. We want to give you a kind of shortcut, a way to understand those deeper, more nuanced dynamics of truly connecting with readers.
It's about seeing a book as more than just a product, isn't it?
Yes, transforming it from just, a thing on a shelf into a profound, impactful, maybe even healing experience.
Okay.
So let's unpack KJ's personal journey. She's incredibly vulnerable about it in the new book. It really all started with her debut novel series, Diary of Cliches. What was it about that first experience that sort of sparked these insights she's sharing now?
Well, it's quite remarkable, actually. KJ describes Diary of Cliches as this deeply personal exploration for her, almost a cathartic process.
Right.
But what makes it really unique, and I think this is key to understanding her later work, is how it kind of evolved. It wasn't just her story anymore. It became this interactive tool for self-discovery, for her readers, too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, she poured everything in her trials, her triumphs in relationships, emotional well-being, personal growth. It created this very intimate space, really, for transformation.
That sounds incredibly brave, putting all that personal experience out there like that. But, as she talks about in the new book, that vulnerability led to a very, relatable challenge, didn't it?
Absolutely. She makes this really honest and I think quite empowering admission. After pouring her heart and soul into Diary of Cliches, she faced what she just flat out calls the crushing reality of low sales and self-doubt.
Wow, yeah.
She talks about spending sleepless nights, questioning her pricing, rewriting her book description, and just wondering if her voice was ever meant to be heard.
Oh, that resonates. I think so many creators, not just authors, they know that feeling.
Exactly. It's that universal fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not being seen, not being heard, especially when you've put so much of yourself into something.
It truly does. And that raw personal struggle, that, honest wrestling with self-doubt and the, frankly, commercial realities of publishing, that became the fertile ground, didn't it? The very genesis for her new book, Why Is Nobody Buying My Book? She really emphasizes it's not just a straightforward guide, it's not just a marketing manual, it's infused with her own story. Her personal realization that writing isn't just about the story you tell, it's about how that story connects with your audience.
Precisely. And by doing that, the book goes way beyond the typical how-to stuff. It serves as this comprehensive roadmap, as she puts it, for indie authors navigating the competitive and often overwhelming self-publishing world.
A roadmap. I like that.
Yeah. And what's unique is how it blends the practical, actionable insights, the tools, the creative strategies, but all filtered through her own experience. It makes it so much more relatable, more impactful than just some, generic textbook.
It helps authors not just survive, but maybe actually thrive by understanding those deeper currents.
Exactly. Helping them thrive.
Now let's talk about those deeper currents. KJ points to 3 really powerful pillars, crucial for author success, she says: money, NLP, and healing. And they're not just separate ideas you pick from. She weaves them together, right, into this holistic framework.
She really does. It's quite elegant.
So let's start with the money question. How does she reframe something that, often feels so transactional, maybe even a bit uncomfortable?
Well, what's fascinating is how she tackles the money question head on, but not in the way you might expect. She makes it clear that buying a book, it's not just a simple, logical thing. It's a complex, emotional exchange.
Emotional, okay.
Yeah, it goes way deeper than just the price tag on the cover. When she gets into the buyer's psyche, KJ highlights a few really critical points. First, there's the value proposition. Every potential buyer, maybe subconsciously, is asking, is this book truly worth my time and my money?
Time and money, both crucial.
Right. If that value isn't clear, if it doesn't speak directly to a need or a desire, they'll pause. Then there's the battle for attention. I mean, books today aren't just competing with other books.
Yeah, everything else.
Everything. Streaming, social media, free content online. Authors have to offer something really compelling to cut through that noise.
Makes sense.
And finally, the price tag dilemma. This is where it gets interesting. Pricing too low, she points out, can actually signal a lack of confidence. It can undermine the perceived value.
Oh, right. Like, if it's that cheap, maybe it's not that good.
Exactly. But then pricing too high can obviously alienate the very readers you want to reach. It's this delicate balance. She even uses her own book pricing as an example. The Kindle at $3.99, paperback $24.99, hardcover $59.99.
Wow, big difference there.
Yeah, and each price point isn't just random. It targets a different perceived value, a different audience expectation. It shows pricing itself as part of the message.
So it's way more than just picking a number. It's understanding the psychology. And she also talks about the author's role in this whole money question, right? How does she suggest authors approach it?
Precisely. On the author's side, she emphasizes pricing with conviction, which means, yes, do your market research, understand your audience, but it's also about clearly articulating your book's unique value, not just to the market, but importantly, to yourself.
Ah, the internal part.
Yes. She argues authors need to view their book as a gift to the world rather than a validation of their identity.
That's a big shift.
It's huge, moving from my worth is tied to sales to I have something valuable to share. That internal shift, she believes, is what infuses your marketing with authenticity, with generosity. And that's what really resonates with readers, being confident in the contribution, regardless of immediate validation.
That's a really powerful shift in perspective. Okay, moving to the second pillar, NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. A lot of people might have heard the term, but KJ brings a very practical, author-focused angle to it. How does she break it down?
Yeah, she describes NLP simply as the study of how language and behaviors influence our subconscious mind.
Okay.
It's about using the subtle power of words to create a deeper, more resonant connection with your audience. She gives some great examples.
Like what?
Well, for crafting emotional hooks, she shows how a small linguistic tweak makes a big difference. Instead of just saying learn to manage stress, she suggests something more evocative, like discover how to find calm in the chaos of life. See the difference?
Yeah, one states a goal, the other evokes a feeling, a promise.
Exactly. Then there's anchoring with imagery. She uses this powerful metaphor. The journey of healing is like learning to swim in stormy seas. You'll struggle, but eventually you'll find your rhythm.
Ooh, that sticks with you. Vivid.
Right. It turns an abstract idea into something memorable, relatable, and maybe most critically, mirroring readers' language. She argues you have to understand the specific words your audience uses for their pain points, their dreams.
Use their words back to them.
Yes. By using their language, you build immediate rapport, trust. You show them, I get you, I understand. It makes them feel seen.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Using language to connect subconsciously.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, her third pillar is healing through storytelling. This is where KJ, I think, really sets herself apart. She talks about its dual transformative power for both the reader and the author. It's not a one-way thing.
A reciprocal relationship?
Exactly. A shared journey that fosters real change. For the reader, she points out several things. There's the connection with the author, that authenticity builds a bridge. Readers find actionable insights in the stories, things that lead to tangible changes in their own lives. That's empowering. Stories also offer emotional catharsis, a safe space to process feelings, sometimes without even realizing it's happening. And of course, readers get inspiration and motivation from stories of resilience. It can ignite their own drive, show them a path forward.
And what about for the author? You said it's dual. It sounds like it's a big process for the creator, too.
Oh, absolutely. For the author, the journey is just as profound, maybe even more so. Writing, the way KJ sees it, forces authors into facing vulnerabilities. That can be deeply therapeutic. Self-examination, self-acceptance.
And finding your stuff.
Pretty much. She also emphasizes reframing failure. turning setbacks like rejection or slow sales into growth opportunities. Instead of dwelling, ask, okay, what's the lesson here? What's this teaching me about connection or persistence?
Shifting perspective again.
Always. Authors also experience growth through feedback. Hearing from readers, learning what resonates, what could be better. That refines the craft and self-understanding. And ultimately, there's that deep fulfillment of leaving a legacy, making a positive impact through shared stories. It's this beautiful cycle of giving and receiving.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. How she pulls it all together. Money, NLP, healing. Integrated into one holistic approach. It's not just using them separately, it's the synergy, right?
Yeah.
How does she make that happen?
Right, the synergy is key. She introduces this idea of the energy of abundance. She frames money not as this scarce thing, but as a form of energy, and encourages authors to cultivate an abundance mindset, moving away from fear.
How does that look practically?
Well, it includes things like generosity as a marketing strategy, offering free samples, bonus content, valuable blog insights, build trust, demonstrate value first. It also means authentic engagement, focusing on real connections, not just pushing sales. Seeing every interaction as a chance to serve.
Less transactional, more relational.
Exactly. And powerfully, she encourages using visualization and affirmations to envision success, positive impact for themselves and their readers. It's about aligning your internal state with your actions.
So a deep mindset shift that then guides the practical stuff. And from the NLP side, she doubles down on resonance through language within this model.
Yes, definitely. She advises authors to really identify your ideal reader with laser precision. Know their demographics, sure, but also their challenges, hopes, values. Go deep. Then use those persuasive language patterns, the NLP techniques like anchoring, evocative metaphors to guide readers emotionally and intellectually. And crucially, evoke emotions that genuinely motivate action. Hope, curiosity, maybe urgency. Moving readers to take that next step with your book through connection, not manipulation.
Got it.
And finally, she positions healing as a shared journey, as the ultimate result of this synergy. The author positions their book not just as content, but as a tool for growth. By consistently embracing authenticity and vulnerability on their platform, build that deep trust. By offering empowerment and inspiration through practical guidance and uplifting stories, and really powerfully through community building, creating spaces where readers connect with each other, share experiences, support each other's healing, becomes this interconnected ecosystem. The author's journey fuels the readers, and the reader's experience feeds back to the author and the community.
That's a truly comprehensive, quite beautiful approach. So for you, our listener, maybe you're an aspiring author, maybe a creator facing similar hurdles. KJ offers some really practical steps to move forward based on all this. Could you walk us through those?
Certainly. First, she says, revisit your messaging. Take a fresh look at your book descriptors, your bio, your ads. Do they truly resonate? Are you using those NLP techniques? Is it clear? Is there a clear call to action? It's about intentional refinement.
Okay, step 1, messaging. What's next?
Step 2, building on that. Analyze your audience. Go beyond the basics. Understand their interests, demographics, yes, but also their psychographics.
Psychographics, like attitudes, lifestyles.
Exactly. Their aspirations, their values. The deeper you understand them, the better you can tailor everything and really connect.
Makes sense. Know your people.
Right. Third step, cultivate authentic connections. Share your personal stories where appropriate. Engage in online communities where your readers actually hang out. Maybe host live events, do guest blogs, go on podcasts like this one. It's about building real relationships, not just follower accounts. Every reader is a person.
Relationships, not transactions. Got it. And the last one.
Finally, she really stresses the importance of celebrate small wins. This whole thing is a journey, right?
Definitely not overnight.
No way. Focus on progress, not perfection. Track your metric sales, traffic, engagement, sure, but don't let them define your self-worth. Learn from mistakes, see them as data, and keep yourself inspired. Find your support network.
That's crucial advice.
And ultimately, KJ's big message is clear. Building a successful author platform, a meaningful creative legacy. It takes time, effort, and dedication.
It's a marathon.
Totally. A marathon, not a sprint. And it's deeply tied to your own personal growth along the way.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? Why is nobody buying my book? Be on your radar, launching June 30th. KJ is really clear about who this book can help
Yeah.
and why it's different.
Yeah, she says it's explicitly for indie authors looking to improve their book sales, obviously, but also, importantly, for writers seeking a deeper connection with their readers, people who want their words to truly land to make an impact.
Right. Not just sell, but connect.
And significantly, it's for anyone struggling with self-doubt or the fear of rejection in their publishing journey.
Oh, yeah.
Strategies, yes, but also this deep empathy for the emotional side of creating.
That's huge.
What makes it truly different, as she puts it, is that it's a deeply personal and practical toolkit that blends storytelling, psychology, and actionable exercises. It goes way beyond surface advice or marketing hacks.
It sounds like it.
It's focused on more than selling books. It's about sharing your voice, connecting with readers, and finding purpose in the process. Transforming the author's journey, too.
And if you're curious about KJ's range, you can see her connecting with totally different audiences, too. Check out her latest children's book series, The Adventures of Solly the Rescue Pup. It's apparently wonderful.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And fun fact, KJ is a dog mom, loves adventures with her furry best friend, Solly. It just shows how her authentic self, even loving her dog, weaves into her work.
That's lovely. And, this whole discussion, it raises a bigger question for all of us, doesn't it? Whether we're authors, artists, entrepreneurs, creators of any kind, how can the very act of creating be this dual journey? Having an external impact, but also being about internal transformation. It's not just about what you put out into the world, but how making it and sharing it changes you. And how that change then impacts the people who engage with your work. It's something powerful to think about in our own lives, our own work.
Absolutely. A really provocative thought to end on. So we definitely encourage you to explore KJ's new book, Why Is Nobody Buying My Book, when it launches. And check out her blog, K's Odyssey. Dive deeper into how embracing authenticity, understanding that human connection piece, and reframing challenges can truly transform whatever creative endeavor you're pursuing. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.